and welcome again. My name's Kat, and today I'm going to be revising my song My Girl, My World, which is part of my album Same But Different, which has been out since the beginning of 2026, and I've been revising every song one per week. I thought it would be a good way to start the year and to promote the album as well for anybody who's interested in production or even just people who like to see how songs are made. I actually started this song sometime early last year, and the actual sample does have a part where they sing My Girl, My World. I think it goes My Girl, My World, and I thought I could transform that into something a bit more catchy. In the end I couldn't, but I ended up using the rest of the sample, which is what you hear in the song. Then I didn't know what to name the song, so I just kept the My Girl, My World. I kept the name of the song because I just didn't know what else to name it, so that's where the name comes from. It was a really fun song to do because I was really trying to explore adding more pianos, especially after doing Get Me High, which I've already made a video for. I just wanted to have more pianos in all the songs. Yeah, it was a good way to explore that. So I think the best way to start with this song is with the drums. There's a few different parts, so I'll start with the chorus. So I really like these drums. It's basically the same kick I've used in all of the other songs. I realized this as I was doing the videos. I also added a top kick, which is just a cashmere top kick. Sometimes I'll just save this all together and then I'll just drag and drop them into a new song, especially during the times where I feel like I just want to write and I don't really want to be overthinking. Both of them have just a bit of EQ and a bit of roar. The rest of it is actually loops that I took from Splice and other sample packs like that. I've got this first loop here, hi-hats, and then some shakers, more hi-hats with a different groove, and this is the main loop, I'd say, that drove the whole song, and all together I really like it. So definitely leaning into that house, Afro house kind of vibe, and that was the initial thing I wanted to do. I don't think the song sounds specifically like any Afro house or anything. I think it's just like kind of a dance song. Then for the verse, I've got a combination of a loop and some effect sounds that I thought sounded good together. Mainly this loop, I didn't even change anything to it, literally drag and drop. I thought it sounded great and it went well with my song. Don't know what I'm doing. And I use it on both verses, and yeah, that's it really, combined with the effects. That's what it is. Then for the processing of the drums, I've got here an EQ, just cutting the very, very lows, like no one can even hear that. I've got a Pultec EQ as well, and then I've got this API. Then I've got the Ableton saturator, then the Oxford inflator, and at the end just a little bit of EQ with the high shelf. Don't know what I'm doing. Then the next thing we should look at is the bass. So we've got 3 different basses. I've got one for the verse that is just like a Reese bass basically. I'm doing, don't know where I'm really filling up the sound there. It's just a Serum preset. I was even still using Serum 1 at the time, so that's how long ago I started the song. Yeah, this is a preset I like. I usually just put the cutoff a bit lower, and it works pretty well for me. A little bit of saturator and EQ. We've got here some automation with the filter cutoff as well. Don't know where. So that's it for the bass in the verse. Then for the chorus, we've got this Serum 2 patch. This is from Dropgun samples, which you can get on Splice. It's from their Vocal Afro House. Like I said, I think I was going for that when I first started the song. And this is the name of the preset. It's basically another Reese bass, but it just has a bit more harmonics in it. And then I thought it sounded better in the chorus. And then I just layered with this other sound, which is basically just melt being used to make a sub. and it's just adding another layer of sub-frequencies there. This is what the meld looks like, nothing crazy. I just did it on the spot, added a bit of EQ and roar just to drive it, and then sidechain compression at the end, which is actually maybe a little bit too aggressive because it was clipping a little bit there, but that's okay. Then the next thing we should look at, I think, is the pianos. We'll start with the pianos on the verse because I think those are more interesting. So we've got a combination of chords and then a piano playing a lead. So it starts here with this melody. And basically these are two pianos layered. One is the Ableton Grand piano with some hybrid reverb and some chorus and delay, and that's pan to the left, and then pan to the right we've got Contact Library, which is the grande, and it's just layered with that other one, and it has some reverb and delay, and together I thought they sounded great. They're a bit more mellow at this part of the song. Then on the second verse they sound a little bit different. Then for the chords in the song, which are also the sounds of pianos, in this case it'll be the Ableton Grand piano and Rhodes type sound of piano. So that's basically the chords. They kind of play the same throughout the song, except on the chorus where they play long notes. We've got here the grand piano again from Ableton, which I've used throughout the whole, with a bit of chorus and a bit of limiting and EQ and utility just to automate the gain throughout the song. And then for the other piano, we've got here the Analog Lab preset. Is called 70s Dreamy Roads. This is a free preset you can download. I have links on my description if you're interested. I don't own Arturia anything. Yeah, this plugin is free, the presets are free. I think they sound pretty good. I grouped them and just added a bit of EQ and glue compressor, and nothing crazy with that. The final piano element I would say is this, I called it attack piano. It's basically just a bit more aggressive piano playing. So it's a bit more aggressive than everything else, but it's still just the Ableton Grand piano with different settings. The next thing we'd probably look at is this Serum 2 preset, which is a pad. It's got some automation here on the verse as well. So this is just to fill up the song a little bit more, and it's a Serum 2 preset, 1970s string machine. It's the very first pad preset that you find on the Serum 2. So, and then we've got some EQ, just cutting the lows, some auto filter automated as well. Here just to open, and then it's fully open during the chorus, and some utility to automate the gain throughout the song as well. The next thing I think we should look at is the lead, which is very common in Afro house music, so this is what it sounds like. This is a preset again from Dropgun Samples that I downloaded off Splice. I'm pretty sure I used this sound on some other song, I can't remember which one right now. I definitely recommend repeating sounds, especially if you're trying to come up with your own sound, or if you're trying to make an album and you want it to sound cohesive. Then we've got here a few things, so I've got here a bounce off piano effect as well. And that just plays behind the song throughout the verse basically. Then I've got another sound here, which is another bounce.
What I'm certain of is you're the only one.
And I like this kind of thing because it really fills up the songs. And yeah, they just play it during the verses. Vocals, so I've got the full vocal on the verse, or not the full, but part of the sample in full.
Don't know what I'm doing. Don't know where I'm going.
It has a bit of roar and auto filter. It's layered with other copies of the same vocal, but just slightly moved, and humanoids, and just pitched up or pitched down or full of reverb like this one here. Then on the chorus you've got bits of the vocal as well, and that's basically the main part of the vocal that I took, because the, like I said, the My Girl My World part, I was not so keen on it and I was not able to make it work very well. I do use it here at the end, just a little bit of the ending of the sample. So I just pitch up some of them and make them sound a little bit different. And I repeated this bit of the sample just so it's filling up in the background. And yeah, that's mainly the vocal. I took a little bit of the vocal and made some chops with it, and this is what they sound like. So they play just before the chorus or before the drop, and then they play here on the second part of the drop as well. So that's how I made them work, and there's different beats here because, for example, on the come down from the first drop, they sound like this. So they have different delay time and different effects there. The cutoff on the highs, it's a bit stronger because it's phasing out into the verse. And yeah, so that's what I did different with that one. And then the last thing, I nearly forgot about it. We do have here the up as well. So we've got two types of Arps. One is this Serum 2 Arp, which I think is also a factory preset. It's the third one that you find when you open Serum. I used it a lot and I like it. And then the other one is also the same one. This one has a bit of saturation and it sounds a bit more aggressive, and that's basically the difference between them. And yeah, I love Arps, so they definitely need to be there. And then the last thing, it's the vinyl crackle that it's here on the background, and a bit of Central Park recording apparently. It was sounding a bit empty in the beginning, so that's what happened. But yeah, nothing too crazy with this project. I'd say the arrangement was a bit tricky because I started with the vocals and wasn't sure if they belonged in the drop or in the verse. But I'm glad with the way it turned out. That's how I made My Girl My World. There's only one more song to go now, which will come out next week. But I hope you've been enjoying so far. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.